What up? What up? Welcome to another episode of He Said, She Said. What up, Miss Tosh? What's cracking?
What's up? Second
Man,
episode in the books. Come
yeah,
on.
second episode, man. The first one was mad fun, man. Got a lot of great response. You know, people
We
was loving
did.
it, man. It was cool.
It was. I had people calling me saying they listened and they loved it. They couldn't wait for the second one
That's
and
what's up.
chiming in with their opinions. So, yep, it was
Yeah,
great. It was
that's
great.
what's up, man. Yo, so it's spring break right now. Like we ending with the spring break and kids about to go to school, but like this whole spring break, like you guys had anything planned?
Man, we still chilling out. And look, and you know, Michigan weather, this feel like winter break. I'm like, this ain't
Yo,
no spring break. So we here in this house and I'm ready for this pandemic to be
I
over.
I bet. Listen, man, my wife was like, yo, when I was in Jersey, she was like, yo, what we doing? We going somewhere? And I'm like, yo, I would like to, but I'm like, yo, where we gonna go? Now I got my niece
Yeah.
here with me, and then my mother-in-law be here with us. And so before, when we had the vehicle, it could just fit me and us five. But now having
Yep.
my
Yep.
niece and my mom's, here is just like, yo, we need two cars. So I'm like, I'm cool with it. We just take two cars.
But it's hard. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she like, I don't like driving. Why y'all like?
She
Are you
sound
like
like
that
me.
too?
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
If if
see.
I could have Virgil, he would say, "I'm always making plans for us to go somewhere, but I don't want to drive."
See, that's that thing. That is her. Like for real. She make plans. She will schedule it to the T. But you talk about driving, like it's like pulling teeth, yo.
Well, I mean, maybe she like me. Driving gives me anxiety, so I feel safer
Don't
when he's driving, and I make all the good plans for us, and then he get us there.
see this is
Teamwork.
no, see it's the opposite for us. I give her anxiety the way I drive. So I drive
Well, he
like
give
that.
me anxiety too. Yeah. Because he told me I'm always critiquing how he drives. He's like, why don't you just drive? And I'm like, no, why don't you just drive
Man.
correctly?
See, that's for real, man. Like, no, that's not cool, man. You can't be trying to drive on the side. That's what my dad. When I was back at the crib, my dad was doing that, and I'm like, yo, would you chill? And the funny thing about it, I don't know if it's just me, that I'm older, because when I was younger, he could spank me. When I was younger, he could yell
Yeah,
at me.
yeah.
He could do whatever he wanted, right? So
Nah, ain't
now
none of that.
listen, man. Listen, he was telling me turn here or this way quicker. And I was like, no. I want he said turn
Yep,
right here.
yep.
No. I'm going straight.
Th-
And his way might
but
have been
you
quicker.
just y'all just stubborn,
Yeah.
yeah, because he said it. Because we went to a game the other day, and Virgil's dad was in the car with us, and his dad was telling him, "Turn here, go here, slow down." And I was like, "You was doing everything opposite just
Yes.
because your daddy said
Yes. Yes.
it."
That's my dude. Like, yo, bro, you can't spank me no more. Say it with your chest. And you can't spank me no more.
Look, y'all so petty.
Yo, listen, it is what it is, man. I'm like, yo, when I was younger, you could dictate. You know what I mean? I'm older now. I got kids. Listen, I will be honest, man. It was probably about 5 years ago. 5, maybe a little bit longer. I went out to dinner with my dad. Probably a little longer than that because my mom was alive. And we all went out to dinner. My kids was there. My wife was there. And growing up, you just didn't play with my dad. He old school, right? So
Okay.
my man, I don't know what happened. We was doing something. And yo, I said something slick, like playing with him. Yo, he looked at me. He was like, don't you play with me like that. Listen, I'm 40 years old. And you gonna punk me in front of my kids? I got real small. And I was like anticipating, like,
Woo!
should I just say something? Because you're fronting me off in front of
Yeah.
my wife and my kids.
Oh,
Like,
it was in front of all of them. Yeah.
yes!
Oh.
Yo, I felt like a kid all over
Uh,
again. I was like, man, I
uh,
wanted to say something, but I was like, I went back to that kid mode. And my wife looking at me like, that's what your tail get. That's what you get. And she teased me like no other, man. Like, yo, like, don't do that no more. Don't do that to me, bruh. Yeah, he got me. He
That's
got me.
hilarious.
Yeah, he got me, man.
Well,
He
but
got me.
sometimes when I'm around my mama, I have to remind myself, like, girl, you grown. I have to remind myself, like, yes, that's your mama, but you
See,
grown.
see, I
Because
love
I
it.
find myself doing things that, like, oh, I don't want to upset her, and oh, that's mama. But mama, I'm 40, so come on now.
Listen, listen. Long as I'm not the only one who still go through the same thing. Long as I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I feel you. I
See.
feel you.
Well, cool, man. You said you ran across some stuff this week, man. Running on social media, man. We always run across stuff like on this week is that whole Lil Nas X thing, and I don't know if you ran across that. I heard that. Listen, I watched the video just to be current and know what's cracking. Like, yo,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I realized like maybe 30 seconds to a minute in, when I realized what I was doing, my face was all scrunched up. Like scrunched up, like what is
yeah,
it?
yeah,
It was crazy.
yeah, yeah. It's I'm with you. Like I didn't even know what to say. I'm like, and this what the kids is watching? This what they like?
Yo, yo, I'm like, yo, that's music, that's art. I
And they
guess
ain't neither.
I guess it's
Ugh.
it's different. It's different. So listen,
And
that's
I
for
be
another
trying to be
podcast,
open
man.
and not tell it really is. I want to be open and not tell my age, but come on now.
For real, I know. And oh, listen, I don't care. I tell my kids, I'm like, yo, that's not music. This is music. And then I go and throw my
Yeah,
stuff on.
that's
Yo,
Virgil.
I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, it is what it is, man.
He
But
be
yeah,
having debates in here with them about it. So
yo, they music,
well,
yo, it's for another topic. It's for another
yeah,
topic, another
yeah,
day.
yeah.
So yeah, man, I love what we are talking about today, and you as the viewers, man, chime in, put something in the link, below not in the subscription, in the comment section. Put your comments. Let us know your thoughts on our topic today, right? So this is interesting. This is interesting of what you brought to me, and I'm like, yeah, we need to wax deep on this, right? So before we get
Yep.
going, as you're watching this, like this, share it, let people know about us. Go to our Facebook page, he said, she said, and subscribe. Go to our YouTube page, subscribe to it. Help us get to our first 50. Right now, I think we got about 13 subscribers. Which is cool. Let's hit our first
Yeah.
50, right? Let's
Yes.
let's get our first 50,
Yep.
and then we build slowly. So help us
Yep.
reach our goal. Go to our YouTube page and subscribe. And the dope thing about it is that we are on all streaming platforms. We are on Apple, the iTunes. We on what's the other one?
I'm
Spotify.
look. Yeah, I was just
Yep.
about to say Spotify.
Yeah, we on
Yep. Yep.
Spotify. So we everywhere, right? So they can get the
Yeah.
audio or they can
So
get the
y'all can
video.
get your hands on us anyway. So
Yo,
come
so
on.
however you want to do it. So
Yep.
Taj, talk to me about what you came across this week on social media. Let's tap in. Let's tap in.
All right. So I be scrolling and then I screenshot.
You
I'm like,
you
oh,
you be
here
scrolling.
we
You
go.
you be you be
I,
scrolling. You that
I be
scroller.
scrolling. So
Are
I
you,
be being
let,
nosy. I'm
let
the
me let me ask
scroller.
let me ask you. Do you scroll? Do you like, or you just be scrolling? You just scroll through, huh? You don't let people know you
Sometimes
was
I just
there.
scroll fast. No. Oh, no, no, no.
You don't let them know you was there. You.
I'm like a thief in the night. I like to come in and get what I need and leave.
So you get your
I
juice and
hate
you out.
that green, when that green button show that you on. I'm like, why the green button gotta be putting my business out in the street? I just want to get on
That
and
is
see some stuff and get
funny.
off.
Yeah. Yo, so what I do, I will go, but I don't stay too long, like with the screen, or I hit the little sound button. You know what I mean? I'll
Yeah, yeah,
listen.
yeah, 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 yeah. I do all that.
Hit
Then
the,
I have to like make a mental, like remind myself I gotta go back and like they posts, and then I'll be forgetting. I'll be like,
yeah,
oops.
yeah.
So
So you're a scroller. You're a scroller. I officially know a scroller.
I'm a scroller.
My co-host is a scroller. I love
Guilty
it.
is charged. So it was this meme going around on Twitter and I think Facebook as well. So it was talking about if if a girl invites her dude, let me just read it. You invite your dude to a girl's day outing. He's definitely, emphasis on definitely, covering the whole tab. It's principle. And so the comments just, it brought up this whole debate about deal breakers. And I was like, oh, okay, we got to talk about deal breakers. Just the comments alone with the females that agreed with this silly meme is silly to me. That if a dude comes out with you and your girls, I mean your man, not just a dude, but your man come out with you and your girls, he's paying, and that's principle.
Wait,
And if not, that's a deal breaker.
wait. So who's saying it's a deal breaker? The girl saying it's a deal breaker?
Yep, correct.
Oh, wait. So that was a female saying if the
Mm-hmm.
dude goes out with her girls and if he doesn't pay, that's a deal breaker?
Yep, that's it. That's it.
Man, listen to me. Listen to me. Well, I guess that deal or that whatever it is going to be broken.
I mean, because I'm like, okay, if he chooses to pay, nice. My husband, he has, when we were dating and now that we're married, a girlfriend of mine might join us, and he has decided to pay for the whole bill, but it's not mandatory. I mean, so yeah, it
Yeah.
was. I thought that was crazy.
This is my thing on it, right? So we're I've always been a giver. I've always been a giver, and till to even today, if I go out with people, I will pay
Yeah.
the whole bill, right? I mean,
Yep.
but it's
Yep.
because it's something I want to do. But
That you
if it
want to do
that I
by
want to
choice.
do, right? But if I
Yep.
was
Yep.
dating the girl and I was trying to secure it, right? Early on. Early on depends
Yeah.
on how bad I wanted it, right? How bad how bad I wanted, like what category she was going to be in. Like, is that the wifey
Yeah.
category? If it's
Yeah.
just, this category or that category. If it's in
Uh-huh.
that
Uh-huh.
category, not paying. Right? You know what I mean?
No. No.
But my thing is that if I wanted this to go somewhere, and not even if I wanted to go somewhere, because just like I said, just naturally, I would pay for a meal, for
Yep.
a group of
Yep.
people, and I've done it. But if a girl is saying that if her man or dude don't pay and it's a deal breaker, like yo, your
Yeah.
standards. I mean, and this is just me, right? Like your standards. If that's what you're gauging that on, that's bad because my
Yep.
man can
Yep.
be very frugal with his finances, right? Where he's just
Yep.
like, yo, I'm
Yep.
not wasting my money. I'm not sitting here
No.
you don't go buy a steak when it's your own meal, but because I'm paying, you want to buy a steak?
Then you want the most expensive thing on the menu.
Yeah, and you don't even eat that
Yeah.
way. But because I'm paying,
Yeah.
that's what you want to go and order. It's not happening, especially
Yep.
not on my watch, right? It's not
I mean,
happening on my.
no. And not to mention, my expectation is for my man to take care of me, not everybody else. So I'm like, if he chooses to, okay, but that ain't mandatory. So
Yeah, y'all.
I don't know.
And I could see when I was, and honestly, when I was dating Leah, early on, but that's the thing about it, is like I knew when I started dating Leah, it was something about, like, I was like, yo, I know that she's the one. Like, for real. I
Mm-hmm.
did, like, early on when I met her. And this was the crazy thing, man, is that I didn't even try things with her early on
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't want to be disappointed, right? Because,
Yeah.
and this is what
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
because if I would have, if I would have received sex from her like early on. So so if she did give it to me the first night or early on, it would have been a deal breaker for me. That would
Yeah.
have been a deal
Yeah.
breaker, right? Because I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, if she's giving it up that early to me, she not wifey
Who
material,
else she done? Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who else she done
Yeah.
did that with? And that was my mindset, right? That's not for everybody, but that was my thing. Like if she
Yeah.
was to give it up early, I'm like, yo, you let her tell it. She was like, you wasn't gonna get it, anyway, even if you would have tried. I'm like, girl, you ain't know my record. But 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 my thing, that was my thing, is like, yo, I knew early on that she was at least something I wanted to pursue. Right
Yeah.
now, I
Yeah.
will tell you, in that pursuit, what was almost a deal breaker for me in my pursuit with her early on, is that she wouldn't take my dog out. See,
Wait, what?
see, you laughing.
Leah,
Yeah,
Leah,
listen
I
to
got your
me.
back,
Yeah,
Leah.
listen, because listen, man, everything, she was everything, right? She had everything that I wanted, but I asked her to take my dog out, and she wouldn't take him out. And I'm like,
You
yo,
mean like take the dog out for a walk?
listen, I was going back to Jersey, right? I was going back to Jersey, and I was leaving my dog at the crib at my house, and I think my boy was gonna come by, or I just asked her to go by there, take him out while I'm out of town, and then she could go back home. Just take him out for me. And
Yeah, yeah.
yo, it was like I asked her to let me borrow $1,000, or let me drive your whip to take it back to Jersey. And
Was he
because
a big dog?
he was a big dog, but listen, the dog was always with us. I bought the dog when it was a puppy. She knew the dog. Like, we've
Okay,
been
okay.
rocking out. Like, she knew the dog. The dog knew her, the whole nine. But I'm like, yo, I'm going out of town, take the dog out. And she wasn't gonna take him out. Like, she had, just like all types of fits with it. So I'm out of town, and she's like, she just know when I get back that I'm breaking up with her. Like, yo, this is not gonna happen. So I found out later that she playing her breakup music, like playing her little gangster, R&B or rap, like, just in case when I get back, that I want to break
That's
up.
that Beyonce freakum dress. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
she just like, all right, you come back and break up with me, because this is my thing. Like, this is why I said it was a deal breaker, is because my mindset was like, yo, if I am buying you stuff, and it was my thing, because I was a buyer and a giver. So I'm like, if I'm buying you and I'm giving you, we spend a time together, and all I ask you was to give of yourself and be a little inconvenient, and you couldn't be inconvenienced to help me out, I'm like, that is a sign for me that you selfish. And I'm like, I don't want to date anybody that's selfish, because giving is big to me. So if if I have to be concerned if you are going to be selfless, or you are going to be supportive,
inconvenience yourself, and yeah.
so I'm like, yo, I'm out, right?
Yeah.
So she defended, herself, was like, well, my mom raised me like, if a dude asks you to do this and do that, and he think that he can do everything for you, and I'm like, yo, I get it, but I've never been that dude towards you. So that was my deal breaker.
Yeah, I get, and I was just getting ready to say, so do you have any deal breakers, like your list of things that are like, no, I'm not gonna deal with it.
It's different now, right? That we married, so I do have some.
Yeah.
I have some non-negotiables that we still deal with, like things that we don't do, right? Like, so in my marriage, things that we don't do that can make our marriage stressful. Arguing over money.
Yeah.
We don't argue about sex. We don't throw up the word divorce. Like, those are things that we set up as non-negotiables, right? No calling each other out our names, no matter how angry, or, upset, whatever the case, we just don't do those 4 things. And if you do those 4 things, now you know that you are just being flat out belligerent. Like, yo, you whack.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
but dating early on, that was my non-negotiables. Selfish or a non-giving person, that was
yeah,
that was a deal breaker for me. That was a
yeah,
deal breaker.
yeah. I can feel that. I can understand. I can. I mean, and I agree. Like, I think some of the things that, where I guess you could say deal breakers while dating and then marriage are completely different, because
Yeah,
it's no longer called a deal breaker once you're married. I mean,
yeah,
it is like it's just flat out a non-negotiable. There's some things we just not gonna do in this marriage.
yeah.
And so I agree. I think for us, because I was 17 when we started dating,
Wow.
and 17, and one of the things that I noticed just early was just the attention that I was given. I was like, man, okay. And I hear some women, they say like, oh, he too clingy, and he want to be all up in my space, and I need, and I was like, I think I'm just the total opposite, because this man, he's showing me he into me, that he want me, and I
Yeah.
was loving every minute of it. And so I mean, he told me on our like second date I was gonna be his wife, and I think
Really?
that would have scared some people off. But here we 17, and I was just like, okay. But I mean,
See, but
he knew it.
some people would have thought that he was trying to drop game.
Right, 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 right.
You know what I mean?
And yep, yep. And hey, look at us today,
Yeah.
But I think when I think about deal breakers, one of the things that really, really just attracted me to him was once I saw how he was, the relationship he had with his mother.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, I can see this going somewhere. And then just a sense of humor, that was big for me, because I'm goofy as all out. So I'm like, I need somebody I can act goofy and crazy with. But other than that, I'm like, these lists that I think
So
social media
what
got
would have
people
been
messed up.
what would have been a deal breaker back then? Like, what would have been a deal breaker?
Um, him being too serious, taking himself too serious,
Okay.
or
Okay.
not giving me the attention. Like, here is something perfect. I used to, when I would get off the bus, because we went to different high schools. So when I would get off the bus and get home, the phone would ring at the same time every day, and it was him checking to make sure I made it off the bus.
Really?
Like you said, he was running game again. He had me, because I was just like, this dude is not missing a beat. I knew when that phone rang, I knew it was him. He was calling before my mama to make sure I made it off that bus. And he kept it going all through my junior and senior year. He was calling like, you made it home safely? Okay, call your mama and let her know you made it, and call me back. I was like, yeah. Even if I was trying to hide it, I knew. I was like, yeah, I ain't letting this one go.
That is funny, man. So that's funny that you say deal break, and it's crazy that some people have these crazy, and I ain't gonna say them crazy, right? Because that's theirs. Um, but some people have these deal breakers that I believe that are a little bit um
Hmm.
unwarranted, or just like over the top, right? Like when
Yeah,
you talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
some, having to pay for me and my girls or whatever the case, or like you need to have this type of car, or that type of
Yep,
thing, like
yep.
and I get it that you want to have a standard, but
Of
there's some
course, of
time
course.
where women and men, right, will have these deal breakers that's just like, yo, that's so superficial. That's so superficial,
It
right?
is,
You
and
know what I
that's what I
mean?
was saying. I blame a lot of it on social media. I do. I think social media got people just, I mean, with unrealistic expectations
For
of
real.
others, even of themselves. It's just the expectations are just,
Yo, and that's one of the main things of where people marriages go wrong or in relationships
Mhm.
is that they compare themselves with other people relationships,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
right? You mean like what you're doing, you're looking at other people highlight reels
Yep.
and you're basing your relationship off their highlight reel. Like it's just like watching TV or the coming attractions. They're only going to show you so many parts of that movie to draw you in.
Yep.
And that's what people do on social media, right? Like
We
they're
get
not
to
going to put
share what
all,
we want to share. Mm-mm.
right?
We pick and choose what we're gonna share,
You
and we're
pick
gonna
and
make sure we share
choose.
the very best, the good. And I think I said this last time. Like, I hate that hashtag couples goals. I'm like, well, like, cause what does that really mean? And what the expectations I had back in '98 is definitely not how I feel today. And two, if a woman says, "Oh, this man got to make six figures, and he got to drive this, and he got to drive that," so what if he does have all of those things in the beginning? And then something happens and he loses his job or whatever. So now what you gonna leave him? And because there has been many times where the roles have just switched with me and my husband. Sometimes
Yep.
I'm up and
Yep.
sometimes I'm down, and vice
Yep.
versa.
Yep.
And so I'm like, if I stick to these standards or whatever, so what do? You break up with a person every single time that standard is
Yep.
no longer,
Yep.
so
You
yeah,
you're you're
it's silly
you're
to me.
you're absolutely correct, man. It's a lot of times, man, we come up with these unrealistic expectations, and that's when a lot of relationships are destroyed. Right? I
Yep.
remember early on, even in my relationship, and it was early on when I developed this, but it wasn't honestly, it wasn't until like around 2017 when my wife and I first really even discussed it because I didn't know it was an unrealistic expectation, right? Like my expectation, I thought that it was expected, of her, like, yo, why don't you want to speak? Why don't you want to be out front and do the things that I'm doing? Like that used to irritate me early on that she didn't do that stuff because I would see other
Yeah.
people, other husband and
Yep.
wives, team ministry,
Yep.
especially, coming in the
Yep.
church, they like team ministry.
Yep.
So I'm like, yo, that's what we could do. That's what I want.
Yep.
And I used to get upset, or if she wasn't chasing God the way I was chasing God. It's just like, yo, you
Yeah.
don't pray? Like, yo, you don't,
Yeah.
so that was my thing, right? And that was my
Yep.
expectations, right? And those were things that could have been a deal breaker. But we
Yep.
had, and honestly, I would say it was kind of a deal breaker, but we just kept living, right? Just kept living and not addressing the issue,
Yep.
right? We weren't
Yep.
addressing the issue, but it wasn't until a few years ago when we really sat down and started talking about some of these things that really bothered us. And when we got to the root of it, it was just like, yo,
Yeah. Yeah.
these
Yeah.
are expectations.
Yep.
And this is the thing, like the other person didn't even know we were expecting that.
Yeah.
Like I was
Yep.
just expecting her to know this is what I wanted.
Yep.
Vice
Yep.
versa. Like I used to get upset because she would get so excited, like we was going on a trip or she going out with her girls or doing something. I would get so upset. Why? Because I'm like, yo, you can get excited about that, but you can't get excited for Jesus. You can't get excited to pray. You can't. I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
telling you, I'm just keeping it
Yeah.
100, man. That was where
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was my mindset. Until we started having this conversation, and I'm like, yo, Sean, what your expectations, bro? That's wrong. Why are you putting that
Yeah.
on your
Yeah.
wife? And vice versa, she would have an issue when she like, yo, I get so excited about God and speaking and all that, but she like, yo, these other things you don't even get excited.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's not cool. So she'd get upset with me, and I'm getting upset with her, but we not
Yep.
knowing
But not.
probably was,
No, yeah. 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 Yep. Yep.
you know what I
It's
mean?
it's crazy. So for us, I think, and it's so funny because our stories are very similar. We always talk about how similar you and I are,
Yeah, yeah.
and I just I'm thinking like, oh, I got the wife thing down, I got the mother thing down, and one time we were talking, and when Virgil, he said, he felt like he couldn't always be himself around me. I was like, like what? It hurt my feelings, and I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? And then when he started explaining, like, some of the expectations that I had is like, you want me to be and do things that's just not me.
Yep.
And in my mind, I'm
Yep.
like, I'm trying to push you out of your shell. I'm
Yep.
trying to make you be
Yep.
a better
Yep.
person,
Yep.
aka like me.
Yep.
Um, I'm trying to open you up to new things, and
Yep.
I didn't realize, like, hold on, like, just because one way, that don't make your way better.
Yep.
This is what his comfort zone is, and this is what yours is. And actually, it's the perfect combination, because
Perfect.
he helps balance me. We couldn't both be out here like,
No, you
hey, yo,
cannot.
what's up,
You
what's up?
you
We
cannot.
could,
You be
we
sleeping under a
couldn't.
bridge. You be
So
sleeping under a
heck,
bridge.
we would. So he keeps me grounded. He does. And then when needed, I push him out of his shell. But I had to learn that, like, stop trying to make him be you.
Yep.
Let him be him,
Yep.
and you do things the way you want to do them.
Yep.
And so that was a huge conflict for us for a long time,
Yeah.
for the same reasons you saying, just lack of communication and stubbornness. Because I'm like, when we go place, I'm like, when we get in the car, like, you ain't even say nothing. Why you ain't talking to people? Why you? And he like, I'm just chilling. And it's like I
Yep.
had to allow him to be him
Yep.
and open up when he
Yep.
felt comfortable.
Yep. And then you
And
feel
and
like and then
so,
you feel like you have to almost apologize for their
for
behavior.
him.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or, because
Yeah.
I know that
And
there were
ain't
times.
nobody even thinking nothing,
No.
but us.
Yep. Yep. And I know there was times like when I went around Leah's family, because I'm so outgoing and, just live and
Yep.
all that type of stuff. But in certain environments, I typically walk in, I'm quiet and I'm reserved.
Me
And
too.
then once
Me
I
too.
get, then that shine, that loud and,
Yeah.
dancing and all
Yeah.
that type of stuff. So
Yeah.
she used to be like, yo, like, you different around my family. Like, you don't bring that same energy. You're not that same fun shine, and you're not this, you're not that. You know what I mean? So was that expectation part that we both had that was going unaddressed. We weren't
Yeah. Yeah.
discussing it, and that goes right along with those deal breakers, right? Like, so when we talking about
Yep.
a deal breaker early on can be the things that's leading up to to the ceremony. Those things leading up,
Yep.
like, you're
Yep.
not doing this or you're not doing
Yep.
that. But once you jump the broom. So now what are those deal breakers? Now what are those things
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
causes conflict within your marriage and your relationship? And if you're not intentional and you're not aware, like, you will ruin your marriage by having
You will.
these unrealistic expectations, especially the stuff that's not in your head. And I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
I know I've indicted her for stuff that she didn't even know about. Like, she
Yep.
was guilty.
Yep.
Guilty.
Yep. Y'all heck yeah. Yeah.
Guilty without
Yeah.
even having a conversation. You know what I mean?
Because my husband, he'd be like, how do I know if you don't tell me? And I'm like, you should just know. And it's like, but
Yep.
how?
Yo, and that's the same thing for
So I guess
me.
that was one of my deal breakers. I'm like, I want a man who can read my mind.
Yeah.
How unrealistic is that?
Yes, for real. And that was the thing, like, she thought that I should, now I would say that I wasn't as attentive, and I'm still working on it. Right, I'm not gonna be
Hmm.
on here talking about something like, oh, I'm just so attentive and I'm aware of her every need. No, I'm better.
Yeah.
Right, I'm
Yeah.
better,
Yeah.
and I will address it. But that's the thing, is that I, especially years ago, was not good at paying attention of what she needed, right? Wasn't listening,
Hmm.
especially like around holidays or birthdays, all that
Hmm.
stuff. I'm scrambling, day, 2 days before, like, what does she want? But
Yep.
she's been
Yep.
dropping hints
Yep. Hints
months,
all year long.
but I
Yep.
wasn't paying attention because I was
Yep.
so into my world, right? I was so
Yeah.
into my world. It was all about me. It would, you know what I mean? And it wasn't about like what she needed. And I'm just like, oh, she'll be all right. Like, she knows.
Yeah.
She know I
Yeah.
love her.
Yeah.
She know I
Yeah.
appreciate her. right? You mean, and that's the
Yep.
thing, man, that we do a lot of times, that we just like, oh, they know that we love them, oh, they know that we care about them, but it's
Yep.
something about
Yep.
hearing it, and not just hearing them. It's something about experiencing
Hey,
the appreciation.
yes, complete. And I think that's where knowing your partner's love language comes in, because a lot of times we operate from our own level of what we want and what we need, and we forget to look at them and know what they need and want. So and that's what I try to tell people when they ask us, like, oh, what's your secret, girl? Because I how do you stay married so long, and tell me what y'all do? And I'm like, gosh, you got to give grace. You got to give room for your
Whole lot
partner
of
to
grace.
mess up. Let them
Whole
mess
lot of
up. And,
grace.
because people be cutting people off with the quickness. Oh, this dude, he picked me up, he had on dirty shoes, I'm done. And I'm like, give people grace, let them mess up, let them redeem themselves.
Yep.
Because another one for me was uh being romantic. Like, I had this whole vision of this man, like I want him to just romance me and do all this stuff. Listen, I love my husband, but that man is not romantic at all.
Yo,
At
yo,
all.
yo, yo. Yo, listen to me.
At all. I mean, not an ounce of romance in this man at all. And it used to bother me because I equated the romance with the love he had for me.
Yep.
And then it took me to really like step back, and us arguing about this for years,
Yep.
literally. Like, this
Yep.
was an ongoing argument for you. Like, I mean, you're not romantic, you
Yep.
don't do this, you don't do that. And then I had to start thinking about all the things he does do
Yep.
that in his mind is his way of being romantic. And
That's
I'm like,
me. That's
that's
me.
not romantic.
That's me.
But
That's me. That's me. Cause
you
I'm
know,
like, yo, I'm like, I don't know. Listen, I struggle with being romantic, right? Like, honestly, not blaming it on anything, but I didn't see what romance looked like, right?
that's him either.
I
Him either.
didn't
Yeah.
see it, right? So honestly, any type of affection, especially early on, any type of affection, I thought she wanted to have sex. She hold my hand, rub my
Yeah.
head, like, oh, you,
Oh,
it's
yeah. Okay, come
it's
on.
popping. Like, no,
Yeah,
bruh.
yeah.
I just want to sit here. I just want to be
I
in your
mean,
presence.
intimacy. Yes,
Yes. See,
intimacy.
see,
Yeah.
I didn't know how to
Not.
separate the two and we
Yeah.
had our challenges because I wasn't romantic. You know what I mean, wasn't very good at flirting or whatever the case. Like, she would send me little
Oh my
texts,
gosh.
and I'm like, yeah, you you look good. Yeah, uh, your hair smell like roses. Uh, y- uh, what is that paper? Is that paper you're wearing? Yo, yo,
Him. That's him. I'll be sending them lyrics to
yes,
songs, and then the response is like thumbs up. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what are you doing?
That's me.
What? And I'm sending the lyrics thinking he gonna complete like the and then no, it go right over his head.
That's
I'm like,
me.
dude, what?
Yep. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So I don't think she gave up on me, but she
Yeah,
gives me grace.
yeah,
Right. And
yeah,
so I know when I see the when I see the flirts come through, or I'm more intentional, like, okay, let me flirt. Let me flirt in my own way. Right. Because
yeah,
I mean, my flirt can go from here to here. Just like, hey,
yes.
Sean, is there, like, hey, bro, could you just, that's a little raunchy right there. Like, yo, give me that in
Like,
between, bro.
even that's what I'm about to say. Can we get that middle?
Yeah, can we get that
Because that's
middle?
him. I'm like flirting a little bit, and then his response is like, "Send me a nude."
Yeah.
No, that's not what I. That's not what we doing here.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's not what this was about.
That is funny, man. I'm gonna have to take somebody class. I'm gonna have to take somebody romance class 101. So, yo, if you
You
out
and
there, if you
him
got a
both.
listen, if you got a romance class out there, fellas, listen. I'm gonna give you a business idea for free, and I'm not gonna even charge you. Create a romance class for men. Teach us how to be romantic,
Please,
right? And I'll
please.
sign up. I'll sign up for your class, man. I sign
And
up
I'm
for
gonna
your
sign
class.
my husband up
Yeah,
for it.
I
So
sign up.
you got
I
two
si-
people
yeah,
already.
I sign up for the class to learn how to be romantic with my wife, man. For real. Put the link down below. Let me know if you got a class like that. I'll join it. I'll join it. So that is funny, man. Yo, so this is the great part of our segment, man. We are halfway there. I love this segment that we always do. The he said, she said segment. So
This my favorite part.
yours last week was definitely fun. Had a whole lot of fun talking about it. So now I have one, and so I wanted to know, what is she saying when a guy says to a girl, "Yo, I just want to be friends." I know what that means. But when a
Mm-hmm.
girl say it to a guy, what is she saying when she's saying, "Let's be friends"? What is she really saying?
Okay, so now you try and get me in trouble because
Uh,
now I'm
let's go.
telling
Let
some of
me
our
know what she's
secrets.
saying.
I'm telling our secrets. Okay, so this is not just a one answer
I'm
type
all
of,
ears. I'm all
because
ears.
us women, we are very complex. So I will say there are some women that exactly what men mean when they say it, women mean the exact same thing. I think as women have become more comfortable with their bodies and sexuality and all of that, they like, hey, I just want one thing from you and I'm good. um that's all I want. So we have a category of women who think that way, but also we have the women who are like, I just want to be friends because I don't want to hurt your feelings and say, dude, I ain't feeling you. So I just want to nicely say, let's just be cool. Let's just be friends. And that's it. Cause don't make me say the obvious, please.
Listen.
Please don't make me say I'm just not that into you.
So is that what y'all saying? When you is that was that what y'all saying?
Yeah, I ain't feeling you. I ain't feeling you,
Does
bro.
does that mean that he's ugly? That he's unattractive? Or like, what is it?
Yeah, possibly. Uh,
Really?
I I'm not attracted to you. You're not my type. Maybe you just caught up with me at the wrong time. Um, yeah. Your feet too little. I don't know.
And how do I know? Because you got gray sweatpants on, and it's just telling everything.
Yeah, you them Jordans look like a size
you
7.
you're
I'm
not right,
good.
man. You're not right. So I'm glad that you said
No,
that,
but
man.
seriously, I think it's more like when we friend zoning you, yeah, we ain't feeling you. We ain't feeling you.
All right, so let me ask this question. Let me ask this question. Can you ever get out the friend zone?
See, I think it depends because to me, friend zone is not bad unless this woman is just completely not attracted to you. But a lot of relationships have happened from the friend zone, I believe. Y'all start off as friends and then y'all spending a lot of time with each other. And really, when it's a friend, I think that the woman is more comfortable because she's not trying to
They ain't talking about
impress
that.
you.
I
She
ain't, I
just
ain't talking about that
herself.
friend like we just hanging out. I ain't talking about that friend like, yo, yeah, we went to school together, we friend. I'm talking about the one where I push up and you friend me. Like, oh, I don't look at you that way. We've been friends for a while. Let's just be friends. That
Mm-mm.
person, you said exactly what I thought it meant, is that I'm not feeling your, and you fill in the blank. So can you ever recover from that?
Mm-mm, no. Unless, no, no. I was trying to. Mm-mm,
See?
mm-mm. I mean, because look, as a woman, when we interested, we gonna let you know we interested.
And how do y'all do that?
So,
How do y'all let us know?
for me, it's gonna be a lot of flirting going on, a lot. I'm gonna definitely want to hang around you, even if we haven't established some type of title or anything. But I definitely want to be around for sure. I'm definitely gonna make time for you. All of those things. I'm
Okay.
definitely making sure I'm looking cute. I want to look cute and impress
Guys,
you.
you guys, you
But
hear this, right? I'm helping you to to push up on the young lady that you've been watching, that you didn't know if she was feeling you or not. So listen to her. She's putting you up on game.
listen, or if I see you talking to somebody else, I'm watching because it's like, who is that? So I'm feeling a little jealous. You're gonna know. You gonna know when a woman is into you. I don't
Okay.
think that we hide when we're interested in a guy at
I don't know.
all.
Y'all a little complex now. Yeah, no, y'all a little complex. Y'all, you may maybe a little bit now
If y'all
different.
paying attention, you'll see. It's
Now you're
it,
saying that we wasn't paying attention. See, but
just
so when
just
you,
pay attention to us.
but see, when you talk about that, that, what does it mean when they say that I just want to be friends? Most of the time, when a man says that he just want to be a friend, most time it means like, yo, we can be friends with benefits.
That's what I was about to say.
Yep,
He want to be friends with benefits.
friends with that's what 90% of the time that's what it means, that we want to be friends with benefits, right? You
Yep,
mean no
yep,
commitment. I can
yep,
still hang out with Sally and
yep,
Julie
yep,
and
yep.
Tantaniqua
I,
and whomever.
yep, and still come get it from you.
Yep.
So
And
yeah,
prefer and probably about 12 o'clock, 12:30, 12:45.
yeah, oh
You know what I
yeah,
mean? The
yeah,
day is
yeah,
over. So
yep, yep,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Oh,
I just
definitely.
needed
No,
to know, is that what y'all meant by it? But y'all's is the opposite. Y'all more so just like, bro, you look like you got hit with a bag of rocks or something, and we ain't
you ain't.
we.
I ain't feeling you.
I
But I
got it.
don't. But I want to be nice about it. Let's just be
Yeah, I see.
friends.
I see. I see.
Let's be
I see.
friends.
I see. I see. So what you got for the people before we close? Any closing remarks for the people, man? This was fun.
It was fun. I just listen. I want to tell my the women out here, sisters, please be open and give men a little grace. The ones you're in a relationship. I ain't saying lower your standards, but just give them some grace. If they mess up, don't write them off after one time of messing up, please. Because if that's the case, this I'm coming up on 19 years of marriage. Ain't no way it would have lasted if I wrote this man off of mistakes he was making.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
give grace, please.
Yeah.
Give grace. Be
Yeah.
open and
And I
stop
would
basing your relationship off of social media, please.
you can say that again for the people in the back.
Man, listen. All them relationship goals, stop.
Yeah. Yeah, and my thing is, I had to echo what you said, because if I would have written off my wife based off she wouldn't have took my dog out, I wouldn't have been married for 19 years with 3 children and living the life that we are living, because she didn't take my dog out. But listen, man, that was a deal breaker for your boy. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, yo, she's selfish. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? She explained herself, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stick around. Let's see if it really is what she said it is. And I discovered that she wasn't selfish. You know what I mean? Actually, she
Yep,
was quite the opposite, but she wanted to protect herself. Like, yo, I'm not gonna have no joker try to think he gonna buy me, think he can do all of this
yep,
stuff to try to get me to do
yep.
what he want and take advantage of me. So I had to respect that, man. I had to respect that.
You
So
know them black mamas be putting all kind of stuff in our head.
yeah. Oh, listen, my girls, man, Leah be giving them the business, like giving them the
Look,
business. Like, so
that's a
if
whole nother show. Cause let me tell
yeah.
you, my girls are only 7 and 10, so they not even near your girls' age.
See, we might have to talk about that next week. Like, what are we telling our kids about these jokers that's out here, girls
Yep,
and boys? Like, what are we
yep,
telling them?
yep,
So we might have to tap into that
yep.
next week, man.
I think so. I think so.
That's awesome, man. Well, listen, man. We wrapping up our second episode of He Said, She Said, man. It has been a success, and I'll see you next week, Taj. This been good.
All right. This was good.
All right, you make it a great day.